Hello everyone, hope you're doing well and welcome to Talking Game. It's just finished. Newcastle United 1, West Ham United 1. Gonzo, before we discuss the highlights, how are you feeling right now?
Exhausted. That was an exhausting game of football to watch. It really was. My words. I mean, come on. We were all expecting 10-0 at the start, weren't we? Against us. Weird. It went through the whole mixture of emotions throughout the game, Geo, to be honest with you. Fear, and started off with fear, then relief, and then, you're thinking at the end, we might nick this. So, yeah, I mean, just crazy game of football.
I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. I said, before the game all week, I've been thinking if we get a point at St. James's, it's a really good point. 6 games into the calendar year now, we've only lost 1. Form is starting to pick up, and there's always been this whole, but Everton were poor. But Derby's League 1. But it's Brentford reserves. Well, actually, this game, you can't really say any of that. That is a really good Newcastle United side, third in league. Yes, they're missing Bruno. I don't care. It's still a really good Newcastle United side. It's a really good point for us. I'm really, really happy with it. And it's not just the result, it's the performance as well. Big improvement on what we've seen for quite some time now. Some really good individual performances there. Wasn't perfect, could have been better, but we can deal with that. We can focus on that. It's about getting a little bit of confidence back into the team now, getting some positivities together, getting a spine of the team. And I'm really pleased with what I've seen tonight, actually. And we deserve the point. It's not like we've robbed them or anything. We've thoroughly deserved our point. So let's talk about the highlights. I mean, this was a comical start. 42 seconds in, and Willock had it in the back of the net. Correctly gets ruled out from VAR, and the goal kick's given. From that goal kick, it ends up back in the net again. I think there was less than 1 minute of actual football played, and Newcastle had scored 2.
Yeah, well, they were still doing when I was watching it on. When I was watching it, they were still doing the replay so I didn't really see the build up before for Wilson's away. You're aware that he's at our back line, and you're a nervous wreck, and obviously scores, but we were a nervous wreck by that point because the first goal, the Willock one, was a sort of nutmeg. Well, it was a nutmeg. It was nutmeg on Emerson, I believe, and then we were so certain it had gone out that we then gave up. So then when the ball came across, and then he gave it, and you think, well, anything's going to happen here. This is St. James's Park, and let's be fair to that referee. He didn't let it bother him, as you could see when he booked Joe Linton. He wasn't overly intimidated by the crowd. So, but yeah, I thought, oh no, this is just terrible. And obviously Wilson goes and scores then. Everyone must have felt the same as me. If it was going to be 10-0 today, they were terrifying. Newcastle were terrifying.
Yeah, I think the actual goal that stirred is it's frustrating, really, because we couldn't play it out from the ball. Well, we could, or we chose not to play it out from the 6-yarder because Newcastle were pressing outside their 18-yarder, so we didn't fancy it. Went long. I've got no problem with the Sharwin and Antonio sort of grappling on the halfway line. They're both at it. It's one of those that Shar wins that battle. But I saw battles later on in the game where Soufal was doing similar to St. Maximum and winning it, and the referee let that go. So I think the referee was consistent letting that physical battle happen. It was good play by Shar. Paqueta dawdles on it a little bit. He should be getting away, But to be fair to him, he's thinking about, he's got Yolenton there, and Yolenton doesn't get the ball. It's him and they're battling out. It's just that Longstaff comes away and nicks it. Really good pass, and it's just poor defending from Kerr and Ogbon. I'm blaming both of them here. Wilson's got in between them. Ogbon is too slow. He's never going to recover from that. And this is what our concerns have always been, which is you can do it in the Conference League, but can you do it in the Premier League? It's a step up. I was worried when Wilson did that. I was thinking, oh no, Ogbonna's going to get slaughtered today. And the same with Kerr as well. I thought, this is the last thing we need from our centre-back who hasn't been performing well. It's a good finish from Callum Wilson. But in fairness, to be fair to West Ham, I thought we picked it up pretty quickly after conceding.
Oh, we really did. Yeah, our heads didn't go down, and I think that's the main thing there. And you could tell that by the fact it wasn't until I think well into the second half when Newcastle had their first corner of the game. But we took it to them, and Rice, I felt in particular, led with example. I couldn't attest to whether or not he was talking on the pitch or whatever. It's such a noisy ground anyway. I guess even if he was shouting, they wouldn't. The other West Ham players wouldn't have heard it anyway. But by example, by example. Rice said, "Right, I'm having none of this." He tried to drive the team forward. I thought it was quite a remarkable display of leadership, really. We didn't let our heads go down, and I was very, very impressed with what I saw then, actually. And we did absolutely start trying to take it to them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought the attitude was really good because obviously when you've conceded again after 3 minutes, you fear the worst, don't you? You're just thinking, oh, this is going to be a long evening kind of thing. And you start to feel a little bit silly because we were quite hopeful that we were going to get a point. We were predicted a draw. And you're starting to think, well, oh God, how daft do I feel right now? But I thought the attitude of the boys was tremendous, actually, and we started to move the ball about quite well, and it's the best I've seen us play for quite some time, actually. And we got we got a reward, Gonzo, after 32 minutes. Lucas Paqueta.
Yeah, and it was his shot. He had a double shot, and I think it was the second. Well, obviously the second one, a double shot, actually resulted in the corner from which he was going to score. Interesting to see Declan taking the corner, and I'm really pleased about this, actually, as well, that this is starting to happen because we've struggled with it, Cresswell's not in the team, and Fornell was obviously
he's taken him for a few games now.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm pleased we're starting to go with this way, but sometimes you look and Fornell's and no, he wasn't playing, but it's just something different. I don't really care what it is, and the same way, if I don't really care what the formation is, it's if you change something, at least you're admitting that whatever you were doing before wasn't working, and it hasn't been working. So I think we can call that a set play goal. Whether it'll be chalked off as one, I don't know. But
yeah, it will.
It was the flick on from a Gerd. Wonderful, and and nice, patient, really patient from Paqueta there. I thought he could have snatched at that. But the angle probably would have been too tight. So I thought the way he sort of, he fainted, didn't he? He fainted and then made his angle a little bit better for himself as well. And I'm just good, really good. It's just relief more than anything, mate. You know what I mean? I was running around the lounge, quite frankly.
Yeah, it was a fantastic goal. It was like you said, it was a really good corner for Declan, and Paqueta does well at the back post. But in terms of the occasion, I guess what it meant in getting back into the game against this Newcastle team, I was quite the same. As it felt huge. It felt the right time to score as well, really, because we were playing really well, but we had the momentum and stuff. But it was a case of how long does this last for until Newcastle just kill the game? If they go get another one, we're done here. We need to get a goal, and we got it. And it was nice to see Paqueta physically going at it with Kieran Chip here. As that ball's waiting to come in, they're both at it with each other at that back post, and just at the right time, Paqueta just shrugs them off a little bit and takes that step back. By the time he gets it, Trippier's on the post like a yard away from Paqueta, and I just thought, good on you, because you've conceded. You're at fault for our goal for losing the physical battle, if you like, and now you've won it. You've gone and got us a goal off the back of it as well, and I thought it was good corner, good play from Paqueta, and it was nice to see him open his account as well. I thought, good, there's someone in this team that needs a goal. It's possibly Lucas Paqueta, because we know Jared Bowen will score goals between now and then this season. It's about getting him in form as well. But what did you make of our first half generally? Went in one at half time. What did you make of the opening 45?
Well, I thought there were periods. I thought we just got better. So I thought there were periods where, Soufal, whatever he's going to get tonight, be it a bath or anything else, he's gonna have earned, that's for sure, tonight, because I thought he really battled, and he had a torrid time. It's never easy marking Alan St. Maximin. I say that like I know, like I've marked him. I'd imagine it's never easy marking St. Maximin. Let's put it that way. And he went past him a few times, but you know what? He never gave up, and he was always offering. So I actually did a lovely delivery to a Gerd as well from a free kick, Soufal. So I felt he was growing into the game. Emerson was there to be got at as well. And I'm pretty sure he would have been shell-shocked by that initial nutmeg. And they were going at him down there. Almiron was going at him, and they were doubling up. And there was a point, particularly early on, where Trippier was in such an advanced position. And you felt they're really going to go at Emerson here. But bit by bit, gradually, because of the way we were playing, we started to force them back. And those occasions when you had the two of them stood there became less and less and less, because Trippier suddenly had some defending to do. And I mean that because of a unit, not because we were absolutely brilliant down that left-hand side, because I think part of it wasn't functioning. But Emerson got better and started to grow into the game. He started travelling with the ball. I think they didn't know. They didn't know what was going on there. Was he going to cut inside? Was he going to pass it? Was he going to do a driving run? So I thought there were a number of things. And then, and I think because of Paqueta's role in their goal, I was really impressed with what I saw from him. At that point, again, what do you decide to do? We've already spoken about Declan, but Declan's different. Declan's played his whole career in the Premier League. So what's Paqueta going to do then? Well, Paqueta's going to roll his sleeves up and he's going to battle as well and try and take it to him and display some quality when he could. So I just thought as a team, you know, there was some recovery that needs to be done in terms, I'm talking mental recovery here. Bonner, I felt he did that. He started to win headers. He started to hit interceptions. And we just started to control areas of the game, and whilst we weren't overly firing in terms of Bowen and Benrahma and Antonio, but there was enough across the middle of the park for us to advance forward.
I thought we were the better team in the first half. First 5 minutes aside, when obviously we were terrible, but for the other 40, I thought we were the better side. We went into that half with momentum. We much deserved the equaliser. Thought Emerson was playing well. I thought Sufal was having a blinder down that side. I thought Rice and Paqueta were really battling. I thought the centre backs were, I thought Gerd was playing well. I thought Bonner was doing fine. I actually thought Kerr was doing okay. I don't think he was that big an issue. Obviously, their goal aside, for the other 40 minutes, I thought he was okay. But Benrahma was really poor. I thought he was the weak link, unfortunately, and it caused us problems to some extent in the final third. There was a couple of times he got into good positions, made the wrong decision. If you're going to make the wrong decision, at least get it right. If you decided to shoot instead of cross, get your shot right, because you need to justify that choice that you've just made. But he was making the wrong decision and then not following up on what he chosen to do. And it wasn't just once or twice, it was 3 or 4 times he made the wrong call. And you could see Rice and Bowen getting frustrated with him physically. You could see them saying, well, hang on a minute, what are you doing? Come on. But I thought that first 45 was classic David Moyes. I thought we were all battling. We were there for Newcastle are a physical side, and we stepped up to it. It was like, come on then, we'll have a bit of that as well. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game of football. I thought it was some of the best football we played for quite some time, that 40-minute period. We were moving about quite well. Everybody knew their jobs. At times, I thought we looked a little bit outnumbered in midfield, and that was going to continue into the second half. But players were making allowances for that. Bowen was getting back in and helping out, and Benrahma was getting back, helping out. Antonio was getting, but they were all digging in. I was really proud at halftime and quite hopeful for the second half. Gonzo, not much in the way of shots to talk about in the second half. The biggest chance fallen to Callum Wilson with his header straight to Fabianski, and then the other one fallen to Callum Wilson. I know you're going to do a video about a Gerd later, so I don't want you to talk about it too much, but
he had some headers. He could have scored twice a Gerd.
Yeah. The first half one though was the one
for sure.
But that tackle, that is.
It says, I mean, we'll make no apologies.
Match-winning tackle.
I'll make no apologies about it. I am going to upload a video about a Gerd later, and I will, because I just think he's sensational. So I'll save some words, but I'll tell you now, world-class tackle, is it rare that you jump up.
Celebrate it.
You absolutely do. Me and the boy as well. Amazing. I mean, an inspirational tackle. There you go. I'll leave it at that. Magnificent.
I thought it was an incredible one. You see Wilson going in, oh no, you see a guy closing in on, and you're thinking, are you going to get it? Are you going to get it? But the timing, everything about it was just perfection. And then you go into panic mode because he goes down. And you think, oh my God, the season's over. If he's injured, that's it. We're getting around the
similar to the Rangers one, wasn't it? As well. Yeah.
But he's worth points. A Gerd is worth points to West Ham. What a defender! And as I've said it before, I know you agree, but had we had a Gerd all season, I don't think we'd be this far down the table. We'd have an extra few additional points on the board and be a bit higher up, kind of thing. He is such an incredible player, but that tackle was just unbelievable. It's the equivalent of Paqueta scoring a goal. Do you know what I mean? It's arguably more important, given the fact that it was 1-1 and how late on it was in the match as well. It was just sensational play from him. It finished 1-1. What did you make of the second half?
relatively controlled. Actually, I felt like we were in control. I thought the thing is with Kera is he made his mistake, and then actually, to his credit, he had 2 50-50 challenges and he won them both.
Yeah,
and they were crunchers. So fair play to him. But I still think it was the right decision. Well, clearly it was, because we didn't concede any goals afterwards. But you're still wondering, is he going to offer up another opportunity? And I still felt that side needed shutting down. We weren't to know that St Maximin was going to come off at that point. And St Maximin was able to go past Soufal. So it then becomes the right centre-back has got to sort of muck in and help out. And I just felt immediately when Johnson was in there, we were just more solid. And so that was really good. I actually felt that Bowen got into the game a little bit more in the second half. I felt he was doubled up upon in the first half quite a lot, actually. So I felt there was a little bit more freedom for him. I actually thought we got better. I didn't feel that. It's weird. I mean, we were deep anyway. I didn't feel we retreated too much. I thought there was always enough for us to be able to get up the pitch a little bit. I think there was a period where they start having their corners where, yes, that happens. But I do think by and large that was once the substitutions were made. I don't think he's got options. I think you might have seen something different there. Well, he has. He could have been brought Finn Downs on, to be perfectly honest with you. But I know he did eventually, but you know what I mean? The Paqueta one. We lost a little bit of drive forward once Paqueta went off, which is understandable. He didn't quite have the options there. I'm sure, looking at that and looking at how Benrahma played, I'm quite sure. I don't know. People will laugh, and please do. You're very welcome to laugh.
I know what you always say.
If Cornet was available, if we had Cornet would have started, and it would have been Benrahma coming off the bench. And you just say you laugh, Cornet, who's that? That would have been the plan. So I just was a little bit too slow, because let's be fair to Newcastle here. They are so fast. They're quite a sight, and they are terrifying when they're in their stride. And we did well. And I do want to say this actually about Paqueta. That's it. He's done it now. That's the Premier League. That's as fast and ferocious as it gets. All right. That's it. That's snapping at your heels. That's fast players picking up the ball and running at you. And if he can get that, I don't feel there's anything left to shock him now. I think he'll have seen that's it. It's ferocious, fastest, best. And I did think, and was, as you know, because I put it in the Patron Addicts group chat, I felt like it was cheaters against sloths at the start. And I felt the last thing we needed in that game was to bring two slow players on, which is Souček and Fornals. So I felt they had a little bit of a bit more momentum then, which is when they got their corners and whatnot. But I don't think he had an awful lot of options there at that point. I didn't feel. Maybe I should have done. Okay, the good recovery tackle aside, I didn't feel particularly under threat by him.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I do think we evolved from a sloth into a lion though during the game. I think we just changed it. We said, "Oh right, we'll stop the racing. Yeah. You've got us. We're going to turn into a battle now, and then we'll compete." And I do think we held our own. Just quickly, thank you to Contact Light for the £5 super chat. Says, "Happy birthday for tomorrow, Gonzo. It's your birthday twin."
How you managed that? Hey, I've been keeping that.
You're both 21. But still bloody handsome.
Oh, of course, that's how he's bloody. I remember now. That's right. Yes, indeed. Well,
Thank you. If you discovered 3 years ago, you had to say,
of course. I know the last bit was obscured by basically the camera is there, which sort of obscures just the middle corner bit there. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I'm going to say something negative. It's the only negative thing I'm going to say, but it's my honest opinion. I was disappointed by the subs. I think when I saw Souček and Fornals coming on, I thought, oh, no. Now, I agree with who went off. I agree with Benrahma. He was our poorest player. He was ineffective. I agree with taking him off. The second one, Paqueta, I actually agree with taking him off. I thought he was done. By the time he got subbed off, I thought he had nothing left of the tank. Fantastic game from him. Probably his best one in West Ham shirt. We saw a different side to Paqueta today. Really enjoyed it. But that 5-10 minutes before he came off, he was causing problems because he was just unable to get back. I saw Michail Antonio playing centre midfield for 5 minutes because he was covering for Paqueta, which is fine. But you can't do that for the rest of the game. But Bowen at one point was playing next to Declan Rice because Paqueta was walking back, and he was just finished. He'd given everything. And I have no problem with Paqueta giving everything and having to go off because he's tired. I quite like it. He's given 100%. And when you're in a battle, you look at your new signings as well and think, are you up for this? Are you here to fight? And actually, I saw that. But it's the people that come on. I just thought any momentum we had, which was less at this point, I thought we just killed it a little bit. What could he have done? I was hoping he was going to bring on Downs and put him in centre midfield next to Rice to shore that area up, and then bring on Danny Ings and move Antonio out, because I thought Antonio was working bloody hard today. Was he at his best? Was he most effective? Was he winning the physical battle? No, he wasn't. Botman's an incredible defender. You saw that. But I thought Antonio left everything on the pitch. And I would have just moved him out on the wing and said, get away from that centre-back. So they're beating you. Go up against Kieran Trippier and have a go at him. He's already committed a couple of fouls. He gets forward a lot. There's a bit of space for you to run into. Benrahma had space. He just didn't make the most of it. I would have put Mickey out there and said, right, you go have a pop at him. But I get why Moyes has done it. He's protected the point. It's a really good point. The boys have played really well. I mean, what did you make of it then? Can I get your final thoughts and a couple of individual performers? Because I'm just conscious of the time. What's your thinking?
That's a cauldron to go into. That's a nasty place to go and play football. It's a nasty place to go and support the team. Let's be perfectly honest with you. And I don't mean like the town centre and all the rest of it. I'm talking about, because they stick the fans way up, and in a way that you're not allowed to do anymore, Geo. Those are not the rules. You're not allowed to do that. I think they're sort of getting by on a loophole, saying, "Oh no, because we can't alter the stadium and all the rest of it now." So they make it as difficult as they can. They stick the fans miles away, and you could still hear them though. So fair play to all the fans that travel up there. Their team, what Eddie Howe's done there is miraculous. They're terrible. It's awful to play against that team. They're horrible. I don't. It's a shame. It's a shame you have to play him at all. It really is. He's doing remarkable things there. And I think with that in mind, and bearing in mind how buoyant they were going into this, what a spring in their step they'll have, and then, just how crap it's been at West Ham this year, for us to go up there and then get a result is really, really good, and is massively important for us. And I didn't feel an unjust result. I don't feel that we were hanging on and all the rest of it. I think it probably was a fair result, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're on it. Newcastle fans are going to be annoyed that they've not won because the way the league is panning out, and they will be annoyed. But I think once they stop being annoyed, they haven't got 3 points and their fortress. They might well think actually that was one of the tougher teams to come up here this season, and they'll win plenty of games up there. That's for bloody sure. And I think we've done well. What did you say? Players? Did you?
Yeah, pick a couple and
Benrahma disappointing. A bad decision making, as you say, and not just that. If you're going to do it, cut in. If you're going to have the shot, make it ferocious, make it on target, make it accurate. Do so one or the other. Not wide and tame. If it's going to be wide, make it 100 mile an hour. Do you know what I mean? Just go. A bit of certainty when you do it. I totally agree with what you said about Antonio, by the way. I do think Emerson, actually. Let me pick out Emerson. Yeah, he's growing. He's growing on me. He's not the best defender in the world. He really isn't. But you know what?
But this is why he plays wing back.
Yeah, for sure. But he still have to do some defending. But with a girl inside of him, that's okay. What I'm seeing more is some decent attacking play, some good runs, some good drives. So he's really growing on me, actually. And are we doing man of the match?
In a second. I think it's a really good point today. Often we think it goes back to that. What I sometimes it's not a myth as such, but I do think it gets trotted out too much, which is, has manager lost the dressing room? A team loses 4 games. The question comes out, regardless of who the manager is. Oh, has he lost the dressing room? And then you lose another couple. It turns into a yes, regardless of evidence on the pitch. It just becomes a yes. I think tonight the answer is no. I think the boys were battling, whether it's for each other, whether it's for the manager, whether it's for the badge, whether it's for the fans. They were battling for something, or possibly all 4 of those. I don't really mind which it is, because if they play like that for the rest of the season, we won't get relegated. We were really, really good tonight. I think we deserved the point, made it difficult for Newcastle. That place is party mode at the minute in Newcastle. They've just reached the Carabao Cup final. In the last 5 minutes of the first half, their fans were groaning. Their fans, we had wore that fans down to the point where they started to moan at their team. Third in the league going into this weekend in the Carabao Cup. We were playing that effectively in the first half. We managed to make that home crowd not only silent, but we then turned it into moans and groans. They got up on their feet in the second half. They were cheering their team on and pushing them forward. But just when that happened, I thought, bloody hell, we've done well here. We are silenced the crowd and we are turning the crowd. This means you are playing well. Doesn't matter what we as West Ham fans think. Listen to the Newcastle fans. That will suggest how well we were playing. Yeah. I'm really proud of the players tonight, Gonzo. I thought every single one of them. You know something, Ben Rama, our poorest player out there tonight, I tell you what, he still worked hard. He was still getting back. He was still trying to chase Kieran Trippier. He's not the easiest right back to play against because he's practically a right winger at times. But Ben Rama was still getting back. Was he the best defensively? No. But he's putting a shift in. Every single one of those boys gave 100% tonight. Yeah. And like I said, I don't mind Paqueta having to almost get taken off the pitch on a stretcher because he's given 100%. I don't mind Soufal going off with half a leg missing because he's given everything. I quite like it. And it gives me faith and hope that we are going to stay in the Premier League. We play like that, we'll be fine. We'll play like that, we'll beat Chelsea next week. And I can't wait for that game now. After tonight, I'm really looking forward to next weekend because that togetherness, that spirit that we saw tonight, Chelsea ain't got that. We turn up with that attitude, we will win. So, yeah, I'm really, really pleased. I agree with what you've said about Emerson. I thought Rice was absolutely fantastic out there tonight. I thought Bourne was a bit quiet, but I do think it was a difficult game for him to play in, given his duty on the pitch as well. I thought Bonner played well. I don't think anyone had a bad game, really. Ben Rama was poor on the ball, but apart from that, I think everybody else had a decent game. I thought Soufal, he's not going to get my man of match, but you tell you what, he's bloody close. I thought Soufal was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. He had St. Maximum in his pocket. I enjoyed that performance from Soufal. Man of match, I'll let you do it because we're both picking the same player, but who's your man of match?
Yeah, and I forgot. I'm going to do a video in a little bit, so I'm not going to say any more about him, but I do want to give an extra bit of special praise to Declan Rice because, you know what, he was brilliant today. Showed why he's off, why he's an international player. I think he actually showed Newcastle today. This is how it's done, basically.
Did the job. Declan Rice did the job of two people today at some point. Some points he was on his own in the middle of the pitch.
Yes, agreed.
He didn't have to win the ball. He sometimes just slowed it down, made them pass it, but he protected that back three really, really well. Man of match, Nate Figuered as well. Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, please do drop a like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Myself and Gonzo, catch you in a bit.